to wear a sombrero and drink margarita on the beach. That's the true Mexico, right? It was, however, also home to one of the greatest pre-Columbian civilisations in America. Let's explore their remnants together. I'm Lex Universe, and this is the Yucatán Peninsula, Mexico.
Hola Internet, bienvenidos a Lex Universe. So, I will not overdo it with the Spanish. I don't want to offend everyone in the first sentence, so from now on, let's speak English. But anyway, in case you haven't seen the name of this video, today we speak about Mexico, and more specifically about the peninsula of Yucatan. The word Yucatan is a little bit confusing on itself. There is the Mexican state of Yucatan, but this is not the topic of our video. We will speak about the whole of the peninsula. So Mexico is actually open today, so in case you want to go there, you don't need to worry about almost anything. You can just head out and go. And if you need this guide, then you're in the right spot. So let's dive in. So just like usually, let's start with the basics. Mexico is located in the Central or North America, depending who you ask, just south of the United States and north of Guatemala and Belize. And there's also a very long coastline. On the east side there is the Gulf of Mexico and a short portion of the Caribbean Sea, and on the west side you can find the Pacific Ocean. The capital city of Mexico is Ciudad de Mexico, but we will not talk about the capital, and we will really focus only on the southernmost peninsula and southernmost part of Mexico, where you can find almost all of the Mayan landmarks in the country, the peninsula of Yucatan. So the best time to visit Yucatan is sometime between November and March, or somewhere around May. The temperatures are really high. It's kind of a tropic climate. Although in winter the temperatures at night tend to be a little bit colder than what you can expect from the tropical paradise, but I can see how that can be really refreshing, because otherwise it will be really warm and hot and you will hate it, or at least I hate it. Before we go there, one thing that you should consider is the time. As we talk about multiple states, keep in mind that the state of Quintana Roo is in a different time zone than the rest of the country, so if you will travel across the state borders there, keep in mind that it will change 1 hour. It's really important. I almost missed the bus because of this. Wild places in Mexico, and most of the inhabitants are Mexican or of kind of this Latino descent. Is that the right word? Did I offend someone? I don't know. Anyway, just keep in mind that 6 to 8 million of people are actually of Mayan descent, so in case you think that this is some long gone civilization, well, they don't build the pyramids anymore, but they still live around, they still use their Mayan language, and you can find many of their cultural villages all throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. So if you want to see this, you have a chance. Still, in general about Mexico, their official currency is the Mexican peso. They use the type A and B plug outlets, the same as the United States. They usually flush the toilet paper and write on the right side of the road. The official language is Spanish, with some typical Mexican vibe to it. Also, many of the Mayan people speak Mayan as their language, but generally everyone speaks Spanish. Also, in the most touristy places, especially in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is the most touristy place in the whole of Mexico, you will kind of get by English. On the hotels, at some souvenir shops, restaurants, it's okay. If you travel a little bit of the beaten path, you may need some little knowledge of Spanish, but I mean, it's a lot easier than Thai, so go learn your Spanish. So if you want to get into the country, the first thing that you will have to go is go through the immigration and through the border crossing. So let's talk about how to get to the country. So if you want to travel to Mexico, you have several options, but if you want to go to the Yucatan Peninsula, I believe the best possible way to get in is by plane. There are 3 major airports in the area. There's the Cancun International, Merida, and Cozumel. The most important and the largest of these is the Cancun International. It has like 4 terminals, and there are connections to the most of the world, especially in America and Europe. Most of the nationalities from the Western world have visa-free access to Mexico for up to 180 days, and even if you don't, there is a possibility you can fill out this autorización electrónica on the website, where you will get access to Mexico as well. It's kind of e-visa, I would say. And if that doesn't cover your country, then probably you're watching me from Afghanistan, then congratulations on having internet connection, and how are you doing there? So upon entry, usually still aboard the plane, you will have to fill out two forms. There's the entry form and the customs form. They require basically the same information. So you will hand over the customs form at the borders, and regarding your entry form, you will keep it in your passport for the whole duration of stay, and you will hand it over when you leave the country. Keep this in mind: if you lose it, you will pay some large horrible fee, and your holiday will be ruined. So. Also, when you get to the Cancun airport, I will talk about Cancun because that's the airport that I used and it's the largest of them. So, yeah. So once you get there, two things. First, the immigration is really pain in the ass. We spent like 3 hours in the queue waiting for our passports to be checked. So allow yourself a lot of time. And also, you will go through the customs check. There's like this traffic light. You go, you press the button, you get either red or green sign. This is random. If you get the red one, they will check your luggage. If you get the green one, you can just continue on to the country. If you want to go from the airport, you have several options. There are rental cars. You can use the public transportation. There is the company of Audible, and they have travel connections to almost every large destination all around the state of Quintana Roo and also the Yucatán Peninsula as a whole. Especially the connections to the city of Cancun and to the town of Playa del Carmen are very frequent, every hour or so, so people have no problems getting around whatsoever. Also, if you come from one of the southern countries, you can drive or you can get an international bus from Belize or from Guatemala, but I mean, who travels from Guatemala, Belize to Mexico? Yeah, that's a very Eurocentric view, isn't it? Whatever, yeah. And time to move on. You are in the country, how do you get around? So again, you can rent a car, but I mean, I'm mentioning it in every video, but it's kind of a given. Whenever you want to rent a car, you have the possibility, even if you fly to Afghanistan. Stop shitting on France and start shitting on Afghanistan. I guess it's a new era for me. Sorry. So there's a very good network of buses. It's called ADO. You can find it on the web address ado.com.mx, and you can find there the schedules for all the lines of this company, and you can basically get really everywhere all around the Yucatán Peninsula. So the long distance buses are usually the so-called first class. They are a little bit more, I don't want to use the word luxurious, but they are better than the short haul ones. They have usually much lesser amount of stops on the way, and they will get you whenever you want, a lot quicker. Also, they will play some film or music for you. It's kind of cool. I mean, if you want to sleep, then you will hate it. But anyway, they play Coba for us, so I loved it. By the way, go watch it. It's amazing. I cry every time I see it. I'm still on the subject, right? No, let's move on. If you want to travel, on the shorter distance, there is a possibility to go by, let's say, second-class buses. It's just not a normal bus. There are also some minibuses that will take you wherever you want. Also, this thing called Combi. It's like shared taxi. It's a little bit cheaper than a taxi, but a lot quicker than a bus, so it could be useful. But you just have to have some certain amount of people who go the same direction. I guess it's not a big problem. Right. Also, you can get a taxi. There is Uber in Mexico, so they could be very cheap for you, especially if you go to some places where I will get. But there are not all the places that I will talk about are accessible by the public transportation. So in case you don't want to rent a car in certain ways and you want to see everything that I will talk about, you will need to use a taxi or Uber. So when I'm talking about Uber, one good point is you can get the SIM card directly on the airport. Let me tell you one thing, Mexico is kind of a Western country from what I got, but the Wi-Fi there is, yeah. But so still on the topic of the currency, like I said, the official currency is Mexican pesos, but you can mostly pay also by American dollars. I heard from some people that paying by dollars is inconvenient because the exchange rate is kind of awful, but you know, it all kind of depends where you go. Just keep in mind that all the Riviera Maya, which is like the coastline of the Caribbean Sea, is really touristy and it's really aiming for American tourists. So if you travel there, they will mostly accept dollars always all the time. And actually for most of the tourist accommodations and tourist places, when you pay by dollars, the exchange rate is actually a lot better than I got at the exchange office or in the ATM. So really depends, but if you go to some a little bit of the beaten path destinations, Mexican pesos are a go. Sure. So let's mention food for a while. I mean, all of you have eaten Mexican food, it's all the same. Quesadillas, tortillas, well, we all know it. I mean, we have all seen Los Pollos Hermanos, right? We all know it. Margarita, tequila, chupito. Arriba, abajo, al centro, y para adentro. Regarding beer, they drink Corona or Sol. I don't know if I have to mention this, but do you know that Corona doesn't cause coronavirus? Because like their sales had dropped quite a lot when this started, which is, I mean, people are so stupid. Also regarding Sol, they are selling this strange version of the beer with the tomato sauce. It really tastes like very cold tomato soup. I mean, it's really disgusting, seriously. Also, regarding tomato sauce, I really love the drink called michelada, which is like beer and chili and tomato juice and lime and probably some other things. Anyway, it tastes like shit, but I really like drinking it for some reason. Maybe I hate myself, I don't know. Anyway, go try it. Regarding beer, they will serve it with ice and lime, so after some time you will just drink water with lime. It's also quite disgusting, especially when you come from Czech Republic or Germany or Austria or some of the countries that actually know how to drink beer. And now let's talk destinations. When we talk about Yucatan, there are basically two forms of destinations. There are natural wonders and there are Mayan landmarks. We will talk about all of them, but let's start with my most favorite place in the whole of Yucatán Peninsula, and that's the town of Valladolid. This is an amazing old colonial town with great old architecture. If you have this like idea of a Mexican town, I don't know, maybe you've seen some of these pictures from the celebrations of El Dia de los Muertos or something like that. If you have ever seen this, it's basically Valladolid. Also we can find there an amazing old cathedral and the old convent of San Bernardino. You can walk all through it, it's a really cool place. Another great thing about Valladolid is it's not just the town itself. Nearby you can find the Ekbalam archaeological zone, where you can find this old pyramid and ancient Mayan ruins. You can actually even like walk across these ruins. There's always also this like place where you can jump from one to another and get this really cool picture, which is never cool when you actually look at it later. So it's up to you. Also, the good thing about Ekbalam is actually it's not that well known, so you will not encounter so many tourists there. So when we talk about Valladolid, nearby you will also find two of the most famous and most amazing and beautiful cenotes in the Yucatán Peninsula, and there's the Chichen and Samula. Now, cenote is basically like this underground lake in a cave where you can actually usually swim, and I mean it's one of the coolest things that you can actually do in Yucatan. The water is usually a little bit colder than the rest of the world, but it's totally worth it. It's like it's really great. But if you have the need to bring your phone into the water, don't let it go, because they are quite deep, and honestly, yeah, of course I did that, and then thanks God for this amazing Dutch person, tourist or whoever it was, who jumped there and managed to get my phone from the bottom of the lake. It's several meters usually, so not a pleasant experience. All of these places are actually located nearby to Valladolid, and if you want to travel there, you will need to get a taxi or Uber or Combi. So, hope you'll enjoy it. Now let's talk the main tourist attraction of the Yucatán Peninsula, and that's one of the new 7 wonders of the world, like basically everything else I've been talking about in this video, and that's the archaeological zone of Chichen Itza. The price for this thing has increased significantly in the past few years. Now it costs around 500 Mexican pesos, and you will actually have like 2 tickets, because when you pay for entrance to this thing, you pay half to the state, half to the federation, whatever. Anyway, you will have 2 tickets, so keep in mind. It's like the most expensive Mayan ruin in the whole of Yucatan, but it's totally worth it. It's the largest of the zones. The most important and the most famous landmark in the whole zone is the El Castillo. It's like this well-known pyramid or ziggurat or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure how do I call it. Is it a pyramid? I guess it's a pyramid. You know what I mean. You have seen it everywhere. But it's not all that you can find there. There is like this temple of the warriors, where you can find this a great line of 1,000 columns. Really cool place. Ossuary. You can also find 2 cenotes in the whole area. There's a sacred cenote and another one. It has my own name. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce it. But unlike those near to Valladolid, you cannot swim in these because they're just disgusting. Also, they're secret, so you shouldn't swim in them. So another archaeological zone that you can visit in the Yucatán Peninsula is the Coba archaeological zone. It's located still in the state of Quintana Roo, not far from Valladolid actually. Here you can find something a little bit different. It lies more in the ruins. It's located somehow in the jungle, so you just walk under the trees, and from time to time there's like this large temple structure that goes above the jungle. And the most amazing thing about Coba is to find a pyramid, which is also called El Castillo, I think, or the pyramid, I don't know. Anyway, you can climb up this pyramid, and once you're there, it's like this great view where you can see the endless jungle all around you in all directions, and you can feel like God watching forests of Mexico under you. I have a bit got complex, I'm sorry. Right, the entrance fee is 80 pesos, nothing horrible, really cool. It's a bit further from the bus stop there, but as you go to the zone, you will actually pass by the lagoon of Coba, where you can find crocodiles or alligators, or I don't know what's the difference. Anyway, this animal. Just don't swim there because they will eat you, and then you will not be able to watch this video. I will be sad. Also, there are these people who will offer you transportation on these, I don't know, it's a rickshaw. I don't know how to say rickshaw in Mexican, but you know what I mean. But the zone is actually not that large, so you can walk pretty easily. The next Mayan landmark on our list will be Tulum, and this is probably my most favorite one. It's amazingly located just at the shores of the Caribbean Sea, so when you are in the archaeological zone you can see it overlooking the sea below. The viewpoints there are just great. You just go to certain places on the cliffs above the sea and you have these amazing viewpoints on the ruins and on the whole former walled city. It's really amazing. Also, there is a beach where you can swim when it's okay. I mean, when we were there, it was just at the time of the high tide, so we couldn't swim in the water, but it was still really cool. Just imagine that you're like swimming in the sea and there's this large, amazing, ancient Mayan castillo above you. It's a great feeling, really. But the coolest thing about the Tulum archaeological zone is actually there are a lot of iguanas there. They're like everywhere. They remind humans. I mean, I didn't go that close to them because I didn't want them to eat me, but I have so many great pictures of these iguanas just lying on the ruins everywhere, on the grass, watching the ruins and watching people, and it's really something else, yeah, you know. The entrance fee is also around 80 pesos, so really not that difficult. There is a bus going from Playa del Carmen and also from Valladolid, from the north. There are actually 2 stops of the bus in Tulum. There is Tulum proper, just like in the city, and then Tulum Zona Archeologica. You need to get off the bus here, and then it's still like 10 to 15 minutes walking towards the zone. It's also possible to walk from the town. It's not that far, it's around, I don't know, I would say 40 minutes, I think. So if it's super hot outside, it's like not very pleasant, but it's doable. If you choose to walk from the zone to the bus station in the city, you will also pass by one cenote. It's actually open under the sky, so it's not closed in some cave. So there's like this large swing where you can take a very cool picture, I guess. Or you can, yeah, anyway, very cool place. Right. There are also some nice cities in the Yucatán Peninsula. The capital of Yucatan, Mérida, is a great old Mexican colonial city. You can find here actually like the second oldest cathedral in the whole of America, and really worth your time if you're there. Also, Cancun is kind of nice. It's a metropolitan city. If you aim for parties, I guess Cancun is your place. I will also mention one town of Playa del Carmen, which is like the main tourist resort in the whole of Riviera Maya, and you will find there great beaches. You can find there also some of the theme parks for the Mayan culture, Xcaret and several others. These are actually extremely overpriced and I wasn't there, so I mean, if you like theme parks, go there, but nothing for me anyway. And that, my friends, was Yucatan. I hope you enjoyed it. It's the first entry on our list that's from the American continent, and I hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who know me, you know that I kind of like these historical places, so if I were to travel to America, places like this are what I aim for. And also there are a lot of natural wonders as well, so in case that's something that you're interested in as well, follow my footsteps. And in case you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, check out my other social media, check out the previous videos in this series, and see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.